Good morning, everybody, and happy Tuesday. Today I'm going to be reading you a book called When I Grow Up by Yankovic, and it is illustrated by Wes Hargis. I waited so long for the hours to pass, but it was noon there in Miss Krupp's class, and at Thursday at noon, I'm sure you all know well, is the time of the week when we do show and tell. And this week the subject, so special to me, was, when I grow up, what am I gonna be? And that's something I've been really thinking about, and I couldn't just wait to let all those thoughts out. So when Mrs. Krupp said, "Who's ready to share?" you could guess who was there with his hand in the air. I raised both my hands just as high as they'd go, and I bounced up and down, what do you know? Well, Mrs. Krupp picked me, yes, me, to go first. Oh, I was so happy I thought I would burst. I proudly stood up and began my oration, conversing my voice for a future vocation. Ahem. Esteemed friends and colleagues and dear Mrs. Krupp, I know what I'm going to be when I grow up. Why, I'll be the greatest chef you've ever seen. The world will go crazy for my hot cuisine. I'll tantalize taste buds with my rigatoni, sautéed with black truffles and pickled bologna, surrounded by kumquats and candied pig's feet, topped with shrimp-flavored lollipops, bon appetit. My walls will be filled with awards I've gotten for toast on a stick and my Twinkies au gratin. My kitchen will be the most famous in France, so make reservations 12 years in advance. There's no doubt about it, I'm certain, you see, a world-renowned chef I'm going to be. Well, that's very nice, Billy, sweet Mrs. Krupp said. Who wants to be next, maybe Susie or Fred? I said, hold the phone now, I haven't departed. Hang on to your seats, 'cause I'm just getting started. See, maybe instead I could be a snail trainer. Man, that would be awesome. Why, that's a no-brainer. I'll teach all my snails to do really neat tricks. They'll play dead, roll over, and even fetch sticks. Of course, all the sticks will come back 2 years later, but I'm working with snails. I mean, what could be greater? They'll do any stunt I like. Holy moly. I'll train them to pedal a bike really slowly. Then jump, ooze, through a ring full of fire, and crawl at a snail's pace across a high wire. Then finish by writing my name with their trails. That's right, I'll be Billy, the master of snails. Or else maybe I'll be a lathe operator who makes hydraulic torque wrench calibrator, which fine-tunes the wrenches that's specifically made to retighten the nuts on the lateral blade that's directly beneath the main radial sockets, inside cooling on X-14 rockets. And since this profession's as cool as can be, well, who would be better to do it than me? So say, here's an idea, perhaps just for laughs. I might make my living by milking giraffes. Oh, it's so cliché to get milk from a cow, and I bet those cows need a break anyhow. Imagine me milking way up in the air. I'd use a tall ladder instead of a chair. What? Milking giraffes, Mrs. Krupp said. Oh, please, I countered. How else would we make giraffe cheese? Now, don't interrupt me. I'm not really through yet. There's still lots of stuff I'm planning to do yet. 'Cause maybe I'll be a gorilla masseuse. Or an artist who sculpts out of chocolate mousse. Or a rodeo clown or a movie director. Or maybe a professional pickle inspector. Or a big sumo wrestler or a hedge fund investor. Or a smelly pit-sniffing deodorant tester. or an expert on nuclear fission, or a foot model with a friendly mortician, or a waiter or a skater or a master debater, or a dinosaur dusting museum curator, or a TV repairman or a sidewalk sign waver, or a part-time assistant tarantula shaver. And that's when Mrs. Krupp said, "Now, Billy, please make up your mind. This is getting quite silly. Which one of those things are you going to choose?" I shuffled around and I looked at my shoes. And finally I said, "My great-grandfather Bob's been doing a whole lot of things, a whole bunch of jobs. A butcher, a barber, a bellman, a bouncer, a telephone psychic, and a bingo announcer. You know what? He just turned 103, and he's not quite sure what he wants to be. See, I'm only 8 now, so frankly I'm hoping they'll cut me some slack if I leave options open. Let's wait and find out what my future brings. Hey, I might have time to do all those things." And then the bell rang and we all went to lunch, and I was sipping on my pineapple punch. I pondered professions that I'd like to enter, like a brave firefighter or a crazy inventor. Or maybe, just maybe now, when I grow up, I could be a great teacher like dear Mrs. Krupp. And that's the end of our book today. I hope everyone enjoyed, and I hope everyone remembers to always be responsible, respectful, and safe. I'll see you tomorrow.